What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Chop Shop. That's right. Where we chop it up, get that game out there. We giving it to y'all, absolutely free, first of all. So don't even trip on it. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. But truthfully, we just want to make sure, I'm here with my two brothers. We call it the Chop Shop because that's what we do. We chop it up. I really can't say it no better. So my name is Courtney. I let my co-hosts introduce themselves, but afterwards we get right into the topic and we're gonna roll with it.
Yes, sir.
Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Fox. What's the topic?
Topic tonight? I thought Larry was gonna do introduction. But, I told you, man. See, that's the thing. The Chop Shop is crazy like that. Okay, so we like in the pre-show. So we do a pre-show where we kind of like get everybody together, right? Pre-show, we was like, yo, we like the Lakers, right? We got LeBron, we got Kobe, we got Shaq. Think of the Lakers with LeBron and Kobe and Shaq. That's a win, right? That's 82 wins. We're not losing the game. Seriously, we're not gonna lose one game. All right. And Larry is definitely LeBron of the crew. Like I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with anybody watching. That's LeBron of the crew.
No the comment. Y'all believe it?
So, right. But anyway, tonight's topic: the burden of success. We all want to be successful. If you don't want to be successful, I want you to turn this off and go do something different with your life because this ain't for you. All right, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Like everybody wants to be successful. That's just part of the human condition. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that out the way. However, there is a burden oftentimes that comes with success that we don't necessarily calculate. And I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. I'm telling y'all right now, I do not have the answers. But what I'm hoping to do through this discussion, and what we're hoping to do through this discussion, is at least get some of these questions out, get some of these thoughts out. And who knows, we might even get some answers out. I don't know. I'm open to it. But what I'm telling y'all is there's definitely a burden of success. Now, just to lay a little groundwork, I went to Webster's and I looked up the word burden. And burden is defined as a load, typically heavy. Typically heavy.
He about to make me say preach.
Okay. Heavy load. So I want you to understand that burden is not light. If you can, I put it this way: if you can carry it, it's not a burden. Just keep that in mind. If you can carry it, it's not a burden.
Okay.
It don't become a burden until you literally like dragging it. Like you might be going forward, but you dragging that thing, right? But that's the first part. Second part, success. Now, success, I'm open to any interpretation, by the way. These are Webster's definitions. Success, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. So when I put the two together, what you have is the heavy load of accomplishing your aim or purpose. That is Webster's definition of the burden of success. What we gonna do, we gonna chop it up now. Cause see, we ain't just about Webster. We respect Webster, but we know Webster ain't the only definition, right? That's what a chop shop for. We gonna take this just like that old 70 Chevy, and we about to chop it up. All right. Yes, so now I'm gonna kick it off, man. I'm gonna throw it to my co-host, my brothers, man. What y'all think about the burden of success?
To some ears, it may sound made up. Like, of course, why is success a burden and everything going your way? Like, what's wrong with you? But we were saying in the pre-show that success is a relative term. Thanks. What does it mean? Success is gonna mean something different for different people. I think we need to start there. It's gonna mean different things for different people.
What does it mean for Larry?
For me, success is accomplishing things that I want to accomplish, a certain level of efficiency, goals that I've set. So you already have to be a person that's setting goals and measuring and have some kind of goal and standard in place. You can't be a person that's just kind of living, aimlessly. You have to have targeted or intentional strategic things you want to achieve. That's success for me.
Okay, all right. What about you, Fox? Come on with it.
I mean, it just depends. You know me, it's always depending on the situation or whatnot. Or not. Well, like just, I mean, when you look at your definition of success, whatever your definition is, whether it's stepping up to the next level on that ladder, or if it's just you know, accomplishing just getting an A on a test, you know, at the end of the day, it's whatever you strive to do the most. So like I just I got stories all day. You know, one of my biggest successful moments was just telling myself I was gonna do something at the beginning of the month and seeing at the end of the month that I was able to accomplish it. You know, so I mean it just depends on what you're aiming for, your goals at the moment, your whatever your agenda may be. If you accomplish it, you're successful.
But you have to have a predetermined goal or be measuring. We talked about that on the.
So I mean, just keeping score. That's all I'm doing. I'm just keeping score. So the first step, you got to have a goal in order to define your success.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'll use my own personal example. You know, I had a goal of studying at least 2 hours a day.
Okay.
And in that 2 hours, I was going to do 50 questions, 50 multiple choice questions. And I was also going to answer one essay. So for me, success was doing that every day. And that's how I actually stacked up my everyday victory. Like at the end of the day, I was like, out of 50, how many did I do? It didn't matter if I went over. If I went over, that's great. But I couldn't necessarily, it didn't matter the next day. If on Monday I did 100, I still was at 0 on Tuesday. You got to start that process all over again. Now, that's a very, I won't say minor example, but I'll say it's a simple example. I think on a bigger scale, like I'm being challenged in that area right now, is really reaching outside of my comfort zone. I mentioned this earlier about success being like, okay, we say the burden of success, right? So successful is I passed the bar exam, right? That's my success. Now comes in the burden, which is doing something with it that's not easy. Doing something that I gotta kind of drag that chain, you know what I mean? Like and really go at it and really push myself out of my comfort zone. I'll be honest with y'all, I'm working on it. I mean, it's balls all in the air that I could probably grab, but it's like, which one are you really gonna step into and say, okay, you know what? I'm holding on to this. Now, one thing that I do think is important when it comes to the burden of success, we talking about the burden of success. I want to be clear. So I don't want to get outside of just, we can, success is great, but I want to talk about that, I guess that dark side, right? That dark side of it where it's like, okay, you're not doing what you should be doing. The world is patting you on the back. Everybody else is, your mama happy, your sister happy.
This is good.
Your best friend is like, dude, you doing it. You living it, man. You doing it. But bottom line, when you go home at night, and right before you close your eyes, you scared. You still haven't reached your goal. What's that feeling like? What you do with that feeling? Y'all ever experienced that? I mean, I'm speaking from experience.
You talking good. I don't mean to cut you off, Josh, but that's stepping outside your comfort zone. I think that's the first step. Comfort is an addiction. That's one of my personal new definitions I found out. It feels good, but nothing grows in comfort. Nothing.
Yeah.
It can maintain, but it won't grow. So yeah. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. I think y'all can relate as me, and you have to be willing to get uncomfortable, do what you have to do. And then it puts you in the next zone is fear. So you were leading and that's where my brain was going. Fear is paralyzing, but it's real. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, I heard it put like 2 Chainz basically put it simple.
Okay.
It's crazy. But for an artist, when you make that first hit,
Oh
that
yeah,
hit drop,
first album.
the timer start.
Yeah.
Waiting for that next hit.
Mhm.
So when you drop that next hit, boom, the timer start. Waiting for that next hit.
Yeah.
So you kind of gotta, you know what I'm saying? You right. Like you gotta be able to set a goal, accomplish it every single time, no matter how long it take. Like you said, it made sense when you said went back to zero because it's basically what you did. As soon as you studied for that, you read, you did all the stuff you said you were gonna do, you were back at zero. You was on a whole new chapter, whole new step. So you still had, you still had to kind of, just push yourself to get to that next hit. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, that should make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I just feel like y'all can take it from an athletic standpoint. It's like, I did good, Coach Justin. I did all this extra, but now it's another day. So I get that. Somebody needs.
But with athletics though, man, it's relative because you're gonna have some people that's gonna look at everything you did bad. You're gonna have people that's gonna look at everything you did good.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
that's the thing. Like
you know what? Okay,
the best
that's
thing
good.
for you,
Come on,
the best thing for you is to just understand what you did and accept the reality of it, whether you did good or bad. You a quarterback, you're gonna throw an interception or two. Tom Brady, the best, he still throw an interception or two. You know what I'm saying? Nobody goes perfect. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, that's good. I'm glad I put that way.
Yeah, in that aspect, you have to just look at the reality of your situation. And if you play like crap, guess what? You play like crap. But if you play good, you made some mistakes. That's cool. Work on the mistakes. Forget about what you did good. Just keep moving.
Let me. I know. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we all are familiar. At least I hope we're familiar. I hope we're all old enough to remember Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Okay. Brett Favre is like the number 2 or number 3. I don't think he's number 1, but he may be number 1 even. But I think he's number 2 or number 3 in the NFL in interceptions.
Lord.
But most people don't carry that stat. When you think of Brett Favre, you really don't think of how many interceptions he threw. But he is literally like the number 2 interception leader in the league in history.
Yeah,
but he didn't let it get to him. You know what I mean? And that's what I hear. And Favre never let it get to him. Like Favre was still competitive. Like, okay, he won a Super Bowl. Like, so what? I'm still slinging it.
I think we read each other's mind because I want to say two things in with success. I've seen people that are really successful be hard on themselves. They name the one thing they didn't do well. I could have done that better, and it's like they don't even celebrate any of the things they've done more than people around them. Like, and they beat themselves up over that. And the second thing was growing up. If I made all A's or B and like 1 C, I got in all the trouble for the C. So that was my parents defining success for me as a child.
I never understood that, bro. I made a C and I was happy.
I think our parents. Yeah. First of all, school is subjective. I'm gonna be very clear. School is not objective by any standard. I've done master's level schooling.
Yes, sir.
I will tell you right now, school is subjective. That being said, I don't have an issue with grades per se. I'm not a fan of, well, if he was there, he deserves, no. You should grade people A, B, C, whatever. I'm all for that. What I don't like is when we attach a value judgment to it.
And that's what I think I was going. Thank you. You gave me definition. That's what.
You know what I mean. I mean, my thing is like, okay, if somebody got a C, it just means they don't know history well. It doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on.
Well, they're a dummy, right? They're
failure. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean they don't have any value. It just means that their value in reference to. Because I'll give you a real world example.
Yes, sir.
I don't care if my mechanic was an A student in history. No. I just need to know that his ass was an A student when he was at mechanic school.
You're right. You're right.
I don't want to see mechanic. I don't want that dude.
You're right.
Fox will tell you, man, one thing and he pointed this out to me, man, we hit the gym a lot, right? And so it's easy to use gym examples.
Mm-hmm.
Fox pointed out to me one time, he was like, dude, look like he really could be a good trainer, right? And I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, he had the look, right? The muscles and all that. His resume looked great. He's like, but look how he's teaching these folks. And when I really studied how he was teaching them, I said, dude, he's a horrible trainer. I'm like, that's crazy.
Facts.
Dude is a horrible trainer. And I no disrespect to nobody's grind, and that's why I think, another burden of success is knowing the difference between a calling and a hobby, right?
Woo.
You might be successful at your hobby, but it may not be your calling.
Your purpose.
Your purpose. Thank you. That's for those of you who ain't familiar with what a calling is, your purpose.
Yeah.
I've often had to realize I got several hobbies that are just things that I like to do, and I'm pretty good on my own. Probably shouldn't be instructing nobody. I probably shouldn't be advising people on what to do in that arena. It's like, leave that alone. Just let me do this over here. So
once you get to a certain level, yeah. If
let me do it for me. I can't make you successful at it.
Facts.
Okay.
It reminds me of those wide receivers that play basketball.
Okay.
If you ever notice in the NBA, the NFL, every wide receiver plays basketball in the offseason. Like you always see them, they hooping. And you be wondering, like, well, why he ain't just play basketball? It's because he's really bad at it.
And a lot of athletes play 2 and 3 sports, but they always have to pick one. Well, growing up, they played several sports.
Randy Moss was a banger at basketball. And I was like the top in his class in football. I mean, it's some people that can do it, but it's very few
exceptions. I would argue those
very
are
few
exceptions.
Michael Jordan couldn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Those are exceptions. His high school team. After that, they never cut that man again.
But what about baseball? That man couldn't he could barely hit a fastball.
Man, he did that for his daddy.
He was greedy.
Okay, that's cool. That's a hobby.
But that's a hobby. Yeah,
he got paid for that hobby.
Okay, but that's because of his success level.
Like Timmy Tebow. Timmy Tebow getting paid for he was getting paid to play baseball.
Like, honestly, okay, so if we using Michael Jordan for a quick example, I'll break it down the way I see it. Okay. Jordan was so successful. Burden was doing something unexpected.
Okay.
Because he was no longer fulfilled with doing what people expected him to do. Woo! People was like, bro, you done won 3 championships. Like I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a New York Yankees fan. And we
I ain't getting there.
You want that?
So he a Yankees fan.
Yeah, Yankees.
I like the example he was going with, though.
I mean, that's the way we look at it. Like New York Yankees, seriously, when the team holds up like the conference trophy for the season, we be like, man, put that on the shelf with the rest of them. Yeah, like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like it's cool today, but tomorrow just put it next to the rest of them. When the Yankees win the conference championship, I meant divisional earlier, but when they win the conference championship, meaning we in the World Series, it's a great moment. But it's definitely from a fan base point of view, it's like put that on the shelf next to the rest of them. World Series, we got 27 of them. Sorry, 28. We got 28 world championships. So if you ain't winning the World Series, I mean, the definition of success for us as Yankee fans is up here. For those of you that don't watch baseball, think about Alabama football.
I knew you was coming.
Hey, so forget that. Let's talk about the winners. Let's talk about some losers. I want to bring back up Timmy.
Let's talk about some losers. I love it.
I want to talk about Timmy Tebow. All right. So in his situation, would you consider him a success? Would you consider him a success?
Yes.
And how so? Because that's what I was going to say. But go ahead. I want to hear what you why.
I think Tebow's a success because Tebow is comfortable with his career. Tebow has not tried to re-enter the NFL.
Yes, he is.
He's tried, but I mean, he was willing to go to tight end is what I mean. Like,
okay.
You know, he
He's
wasn't
a
trying to be a quarterback. You know, he was like, all right, I'll play tight end. You know, I mean, I love the game. He's done broadcasting, which tells me that he's understanding that there are other opportunities other than just playing on the field. He's not strictly focused on the field as his only means of being connected to the sport. Baseball is something that he always wanted to do. And he knew that given his age, like, I better do it now or never is the way I looked at it. I mean, other people can look at it however you want, but I took it as Tebow basically just saying, you know what? I'm at an age where I need to do it now or never. And I'm willing to go at it. I'm comfortable enough to go at it right now. So he did that. You know, he's not I wouldn't necessarily call him a commercial success. He certainly doesn't have the championships outside of Florida. He's not a professional success. I do think he's personally successful, though. I think Tim Tebow goes to bed at night feeling very good about Tim Tebow.
Okay. Well, damn, just took the words out of my mouth.
Well, let's talk about this. Then. Let me throw another aspect at you. Then. Since we kind of on the same vibe with that, because this is one I think is another layer to it, right?
Okay.
What was the burden that Tebow had?
Being him.
Explain
because,
that.
So, I mean, basically, you know, Tim Tebow was expected coming out of high school to be like the best quarterback since Dan Marino. I remember when he played Hoover and he gave them boys hell. Remember when he went to Florida? I'm a Gator fan. I watched the 2, 3 years that he was there. Like that first year, if you want to be honest about it, that was Chris Leak's year. They can try to give Tim Tebow all the praise, but Chris Leak won that damn championship. His junior year, he actually won the championship. But let's just be honest, he was surrounded by D1 first round talent all around him. Everywhere. Receiver, line, tight end, running back, all that shit. So Tebow had all the success through the years. He had such a big name. When he got to the NFL, it was like, what you gonna do now? Because now you really got to work. And with Tebow being the name that he is, that was the problem. That was the burden he had to carry. Anywhere he went, he knew a camera was going to be following to see if he was going to win or lose. And he knew more people were cheering against him than for him.
That's
you know what I'm saying? I followed that man's career. That man, he like, that's why I couldn't be mad at you when you said what he did was a success. Because I mean, he was successful. He did what he wanted to do. He did his way. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna give you 2 names of people that just came to my mind that they had a heavy burden. Because remember, we define burden as heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of 2 people right now who I know for a fact had a heavy burden. And I would argue both of them were successful in carrying that burden. I think we all could learn from both of them.
Okay.
The first one's a little easier. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think the first one's a little more obvious, a little easier to kind of digest, and that's LeBron James. LeBron James was crowned king coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the reality is LeBron James has several championships, multiple teams. He's never been in trouble, as we would define trouble. I mean, you know, married, kids. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a failure for LeBron. You may find some moments of disappointment, but you know, his career, individually speaking, I feel like is a success. Go ahead. I see a hand.
One small. Because I can't give him the game against. I can't give him the finals against San Antonio. He just was ill-equipped to face what they were gonna do. But Dallas, bro, really, he should have won Dallas. It should have been
You talking about
easy.
when he was with Miami?
Yes, his first year with Miami. I get it's the first year, but bro, y'all made it to the finals and y'all going against Dallas. And Jason Terry cooked y'all.
So you're saying
he's one and only failure. Like I'm not gonna say the decision was a failure because
was it a failure or was it disappointment?
It was a failure. That loss against Dallas was a failure, bro. Come on.
But he's won championships since then.
That's fine. I didn't say his whole career was a failure. That one moment was a failure. You said I'll be hard pressed to find a moment when he didn't.
Okay. All right. Okay. This guy doesn't like LeBron. Now I got another one for you. Larry, you want to speak
reality about the nigga?
Man, you good? No. You had me. I'm starting failure versus disappointment. You got me thinking. I'm like, wow.
Oh man, that was funny.
So now I'm gonna give you another one. Now this one's a little more complicated. This one ain't as easy. This one's not gonna be as easy as.
It better not be sports because you know I got you. But go ahead.
The burden of success. Heavy load after reaching your accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Barack Obama, come with it.
I mean, he was still successful. Look at what he did. Well, I mean, like
he accomplished.
Regardless of how the media try to spin it, bro, and that's the thing about politics that I can't stand.
He's scratching his head.
No one man can change your life. Like I don't care who you are. Like you can be the president. He has to be the president for the United States, not for Courtney, not for Larry, not for me, not for Jay Fox. You did what I'm saying?
Not an American.
Not saying that you're not an American. He can't individualize his policy for you. He can try to make some stuff better for you, but in the grand scheme of things, he got to look out for the entire country. So, like, as much as I hate to bring this man up,
he handled the burden of success.
He handled like motherfucking G. He had great help behind it.
Give me an example of how he handled it.
I mean, what you mean? Examples.
I'm saying, walk me through an example. Like, okay, and I think you started on. I'm not saying you weren't there.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I want you to finish that thought. I want you to finish. Okay, so Barack Obama becomes the first black
president. And everybody in Black America felt like, oh, it's gonna be better for us because we got a black president. He's gonna look out for us.
That was the accomplishment, right?
The accomplishment was being the first black president. Yeah.
Then came the burden, of being the first black president.
I mean, but let's be honest. What burden did he not have that every other white man has had? He's the president of the United States. Look, Barack didn't act no different from what we would have thought. He just wanted an angry black man everybody wanted him to be.
And that was a burden.
That was not a burden.
Yes, it was.
It couldn't be. You know why? Because my thing is this: if it was a burden, he'll be worse on Twitter than Donald Trump.
Man, bottom line, okay, I'm gonna tell you,
there is no burden at this
moment.
He can say whatever he wants to.
Happen. It's a moment in history.
I'm ready.
The burden of Barack Obama's success was on display, and how he handled it. You cannot question that it was a burden. When he was giving that State of the Union address, and old boy was like, "You lie." Did you see, wait? Did you see how Barack went through every emotion in that 30 seconds?
Yeah.
He went from, man, I will slap the taste out your mouth, all the way down to, he did all that in less than 30 seconds. That was the burden in itself.
Question.
The burden was he's being called a liar.
Quick question. What happened to that guy from South Carolina after he did that? Did he go back? Did he get back in office?
We talking about Barack Obama.
No, because it leads to Barack Obama. What happened to that guy after he did that? One, he had to go on national TV and apologize. Two, he didn't get reelected. So, in all honesty, Barack Obama didn't have to worry about none of that. He was prepared for all of that. That's the only thing that I can say without a doubt. That man was prepared for everybody to poke and prod as much as they possibly could.
That was the burden right there.
It wasn't a burden to him because my thing is this.
Okay, so let me
when
ask you
George
this.
when George Jr.
Explain
was
that.
in office, when George Jr.
Explain that.
when George Jr. was in office, what was the main thing everybody always said? He's stupid and he don't run the country. Dick Cheney do.
Yeah, he was a C student and all that. Yeah.
But
You see what I'm
explain to
saying?
me. You said it wasn't a burden. I'm here to say it
He,
was.
are you saying his burden was being the first black president?
I'm saying Barack Obama woke up every day and he had to make a decision based on the weight of his office.
For 8 years.
Nobody did too. Donald Trump sadly did too.
Well, you know what? Yeah, there's that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I get what you're saying. His burden was to deal with Black America more than anything, because that's in the last 4 years. That was the question that everybody turned around to him. What you gonna do? Black folks asking Barack, what you gonna do? White folks asking Barack, what you gonna do? This happened to this people. This happened to this people. This happened to this people. So it was a situation of, okay, now I got to answer every question for Black America. And I will say this, and I'm gonna piss a lot of people off when I do, but when he was forced into the corner to say something about Trayvon Martin, that's what really fucked his whole situation up. That's really what really got people riled up, because it was already a touchy situation. And when he came out and said, while it was true, that could have been his son, at the end of the day, he got forced into a corner to say something that was extremely one way or the other. In a judgment situation that was a legal situation. I got my own thoughts on the Trayvon Martin situation, and that's, that might be another show or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel you. I don't want to necessarily go down there right now.
I don't want to go down that road. I won't go there,
especially at this juncture, because I'm gonna tell you, I want to, and to everyone watching the show, listening to the show, we appreciate you. We can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you. Deep down inside, we do it for y'all. Definitely learn from my brothers, but we definitely doing it for y'all too. So, I do want to take a time out to acknowledge everybody listening, everybody watching, and saying thank you. As we come into the close, and that's a good close. There's definitely good and bad to this burden. And this is my opinion, and we're coming into our final thoughts. It's success can either be a burden or, well, I guess I would argue success is always a burden, right? Because you definitely feel that weight, you feel that heaviness. What I would say is, depending on who you are, either that pressure is gonna make you a diamond or it's gonna bust you. And that's just the way I look at it. Like, I ain't got no other way to go. And I've had times in my life where that burden has busted me. I've had times in my life where it's made me a diamond. And I was really, thinking on my final thought, like, I'm kind of in a mental space right now, because too often we talk about the success of success, but we don't talk about the failure of success. And there's a side where it's like, okay, you may have, and I think that's what Josh was getting at, even with LeBron. It's like, okay, you may have made it there. Your overall resume looked good, but that moment when you were supposed to shine, maybe you didn't. And here's what I would offer to anybody listening. Guess what? Keep pressing for your next moment. To me, the beauty of LeBron losing to Dallas is that he didn't let that send him to the locker room. He didn't quit basketball. He didn't quit trying to make the finals. He's won championships since then. And I think it's pretty safe to say that his legacy is safe as one of the top 5 players of all time, right? That's pretty secure. He's saying top 3. I love that. Appreciate you, my brother. I got Dr. J in there somewhere, so maybe I got 5. But, it's, I know for me, the older I get, the more I tend to analyze my failures. And the more I tend to learn from my failures. And to me, that's the burden of success, believe it or not. Courtney's personal burden of success is to find the lesson.
Okay.
Because success oftentimes, and this is my thoughts, success oftentimes has multiple factors that contribute to that success that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
But because it worked, we tend to say, well, that was me. But you don't realize that it worked because things just kind of came together the way it was supposed to come together.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when things don't come together? What happens when what happened when the board don't work? I got this board right here. Sometimes it don't work. Something that shit bothers me because I'm like, damn, that didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I'm not a success.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the burden of my previous success. Is I got to go back in there and figure it out, man. Like I said, I'm just throwing some words out there, man. I ain't trying to get too deep. Final thoughts, man. Come on, Larry, talk to me.
That's a good deep word. Yeah. You were taking some of my stuff away, but another burden that I hear is you have to maintain. I'm thinking about like a homeowner. I bought a house. Yeah, I bought a house. But guess what? Now I have to maintain the home. I have to paint. I have to clean it. I have to whatever needs. It's a constant. You get to a successful level, you have to keep doing it. You become a Beyonce or anybody. You have to, or Michael Jackson. I know he's dead now, but you have to keep on. Now people's expectation of you is a certain thing, whether it's internal or external. You have to keep doing it. It's one thing to hit a successful point, but you said the maintaining of something or to keep doing it. You have to have some staying power. You have to have some stuff deep down rooted within you to really keep working at it, keep reviewing things, keep measuring like on your board, keep writing things down, being able to take feedback, advice, be honest with yourself. It's a whole thing. Success sounds, it don't even sound that attractive at times, the way I'm talking about it. Because that's the burden.
That was deep.
Yeah,
that was deep.
Some people would rather do less. Think about people on certain jobs. They'd rather do just enough to get by because they get the freedom to kind of just, like the Homer Simpson thing, they kind of just blend away. Like, it's easy, but you also don't get those rewards that the other person gets. So it's a dichotomy, but yeah.
No, I love that. That was beautiful.
That's good. Yeah.
You said a word. Fox, what you got for me?
Since we've been, full disclosure, but my burden of success is what to do afterwards. Like failing is nothing. I failed my whole life on so many different things. At the
When
point
you learn.
You had to learn from them. You know what I'm saying? You had to learn from your failures and figure out what to do next. But like my burden is always what's to do after you successful. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I'm working on. And just like we said, success is relative.
Yeah.
Some people might think getting a big bag is successful. Some people might just be happy, getting a promotion. It's relative. So, you know what I'm saying? Take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Man, I love it, man. So, I can't really rap it no better than that. What I would say is, that's what we do here in the chop shop. You know what I'm saying? We chop it up.
Mm-hmm.
You come in the chop shop, just be prepared for that real talk. We all have our opinions, but we always open. Again, thank y'all for listening, man. I thank my co-host Larry, co-host Fox, Jay Fox. Appreciate your time, brothers, man. Appreciate your thoughts. Till the next time, man. Peace.
Thank you.